This is Dr. Z, Zachary Brooks, and I'm here with my friend Goodyear, and this is my podcast about bilingual decision making. Today I'm going to talk about a subject I chose for my dissertation. A dissertation is like doing homework for 2 years. It sounds like a bad decision. In some cases it is, because it certainly drives you crazy when you're doing this homework for 2 years. But in the end, I ended up with something I find super fascinating called bilingual decision making. So I'm recording this podcast from your favorite local library. It's an awesome place. Check it out sometime. So today I'm going to start geeking out about bilingual decision making and invite you to come with me and share your own thoughts about a topic I find fascinating, but even better, a topic that everyone can and does have an opinion on. The reason why is because almost all of us interact with people who come from different language and cultural backgrounds. And since we live in an interconnected world, we might as well do it very well. So once again, this is Dr. Z. Zachary Brooks with my friend Goodyear, talking about bilingual decision making. Welcome back. This is Dr. Z. Zachary Brooks with my good friend Goodyear. So we're continuing with the topic bilingual decision making. In the first and the second episode, we defined it as the study of how decisions can change as a function of language competence. In other words, do your decisions change when you speak your first or your second language? In the first 2 episodes, we talked about how bilingual decision making is a combination of the study of decision making and the study of learning languages. That's also called applied linguistics. We also talked about 2 types of studies. So the first we glanced at was types of studies called verbal probabilities, words like rare, words like probable, that first and second language speakers seem to process differently. Second language speakers give higher numbers for the same words, such as probable or rare, than first language speakers in the same sentences. The second type of study we kind of glanced at, it's called ethical decision making. And I'll talk about a few and some other ones in later episodes, but these are the kinds of studies you can talk about for hours with your friends while enjoying your favorite beverage, whatever that beverage may be. I like hot tea. It's crazy, I know, but that's kind of my thing. Anyway, the study we looked at is the very popular and sometimes controversial trolley problem. And this involves a runaway train. 5 people are stuck on a train track, and you can save their lives by simply pulling a switch so that the train moves to another track. The only problem is that when the train moves to the other track, it will kill one person who happens to be trapped on that track. What do you do? And would your decision change if you spoke your first or your second language? The answer may be yes, and it may be no. Costa and his team of colleagues from Spain found that second language speakers are more likely to pull the switch because they have fewer emotional connections in their second language. In contrast, I found that first language speakers were more likely to pull the switch, but it may be because of the would and should word difference. First language speakers respond much stronger to the question should versus the question would. Topic 2, the cognitive reflection test. This is Dr. Z, Zachary Brooks with my good friend Goodyear. So we're going to move on now from the things we talked about previously and look at a cognitive test and see how that might play out for first and second language speakers. So the cognitive reflection test was developed by a guy named Shane Frederick and a few other people. And Shane Frederick and these other researchers had 3 questions. Only 3 questions. And like the name suggests, it requires the use of cognition and reflection. So Shane Frederick now works at Yale, and he started his career at University of Wisconsin as a zoologist. How does a zoologist get to decision sciences? Who knows? But he did, very smart guy, and he came up with this thing called the cognitive reflection test. And is this like thinking, am I smart or not? Well, sort of, because this cognitive reflection test, it turns out, is sort of an indirect measure of intelligence, or at least standardized tests. And you might have heard these tests once I talk about it in a second. And I want you to just listen to the stimulus. It's just like two sentences, and then come up with your own answer. And I'll repeat it a couple times. You have chances to sort of reflect, and you can always pause if you want, come back to it. So here's the most famous of all of these tests. Are you ready? A bat and a ball cost $1.10 in total. The bat costs $1 more than the ball. How much does the ball cost? I'll do it again. A bat and a ball cost $1.10 in total. The bat costs $1 more than the ball. How much does the ball cost? If you answered 10 cents, you are in very, very good company. In fact, you are part of a family. Let's call you the intuition family. I'm a part of this family too. You intuit quickly, and most of the time your intuitions get you through your days very well. However, in this case, your answer is incorrect. Wait, why? 10 cents is the correct answer. This is such a silly, straightforward question. Of course the answer is 10 cents, right? Wrong. It is true that $1 plus 10 cents equals $1.10. But in order to answer the question correctly, the bat, this is a baseball bat, has to be $1 more than the ball. If the bat is $1 and the ball is 10 cents, then the difference is 90 cents. So this can't be the answer. The good thing is this is not really a math problem. So how do we get to the correct answer? There is some arithmetic involved, but this is not complicated math. So what if the bat were $1.01? That would make the ball 9 cents, which would make the difference 92 cents. What if the bat were $1.02? Well, that would make the ball 8 cents, which would make the difference 94 cents. What if the bat were $1.03? Well, that would make the ball 7 cents, which would make the difference 96 cents. What if the bat were $1.04? That would make the ball 6 cents, which would make the difference to be 98 cents. So now you can see where this is going. The bat must be $1.05 for the ball to be 5 cents, for the difference to be $1. So the correct answer is 5 cents. So we're back. Dr. Z, Zachary Brooks, with my good friend here, Goodyear. And topic 3 today is talking through this bat and ball problem, which is part of the cognitive reflection test. So in the previous segment, we talked about the bat and the ball problem. And if you just skip to this point in the episode, here's the problem again. A bat and a ball cost $1.10 in total. The bat costs $1 more than the ball. How much does the ball cost? If you're like me, the first time you heard this, even the 10th time I heard this problem, I was stuck. I was stuck because I believed the answer was 10 cents. And it took me a really long time to figure out how this could be 5 cents. It's not that I'm really smart, I just want to learn from other people who are a little bit smarter. What we learned from this cognitive reflection test is that most people answer 10 cents when the answer is 5 cents. Why would that be? Well, it may be explained in terms of System 1 and System 2 thinking. System 1 thinking is fast. intuitive, automatic. System 2 is slow, rule-based, and controlled. Based on these descriptions, which system do you think dominates for first language speakers? And which system do you think dominates for second language speakers? First language speakers tend to use their language very quickly, automatically, and intuit answers to questions. Second language speakers tend to use their language slowly, paying more attention to rules in a more controlled way. Now, when we say faster and slower, we're talking hundreds of milliseconds, maybe 100 milliseconds, or a tenth of a second. Now, it might not sound like a lot, but it adds up in the course of a conversation, of course of an hour, a course of a day, a course of a lifetime of speaking the language as a first language or the language as a second language. Now let's turn our attention back towards the bat and ball problem. One of the two groups of speakers did better than the other. Which group did better? In my research, the second language speakers did a little bit better than the first language speakers. Why would that be? Well, based now on what we know about the two types of thinking, fast versus slow, which type of thinking do you think we need to answer the bat and ball problem to solve this question? System 2. Second language speakers tend to do a little bit better on this question, which brings up an interesting thought. Are there advantages for second language speakers over first language speakers when using the same language? Could processing the language and speaking slower by 100 milliseconds give second language speakers advantages in certain decisions? Well, maybe. Hello, this is Dr. Z. Zachary Brooks, and thanks for subscribing, tuning in to the third podcast on bilingual decision making. I hope you appreciate how speaking another language can help you see the world in a whole new way and sometimes make decisions that vary. But does that mean those decisions that vary are worse? Could it be that sometimes there could be an advantage for someone speaking a language as a second language? Subscribe to find out, as next time we will learn and we will look at the effect of studying abroad has on decision making. In the meantime, happy deciding.